Hi guys, my name's Vinny. I was one of Aaron's students maybe 3 or 4 years ago, and Aaron hit me up the other day asking for this image that I took during his class. And I hear you guys are doing a fashion shoot where the goal is to keep it super low budget or something like that. So I provided this image for him. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I figured I would give him a little rundown on how I created it and maybe give you some tips on how you can do it yourself. And so the goal in this was to create a pretty sci-fi looking image with just a bunch of random stuff around the house, keeping it zero budget. I didn't really spend any money on this. Um, and so to show you how it started out with this image. This is my roommate Ross, and I just threw a bunch of random household stuff on him. So to give you an idea, this is a frisbee with a hole cut out to emulate a helmet housing. He's wearing a camelback backwards. This is a tied to go box that I just, attached to his hip. He's holding a salad bowl down here. So, didn't spend any money on a costume, but the whole point was to create it myself. And so the first thing I thought about in this was lighting. So to make it believable, I would backlight him, and that way you can see here, I would choose an image that was backlit to replicate the environment that I'm placing him in. And then, a little bit of composing the shot, how you want him to be looking, and then how the composition's going to fit with him in the end result. And so let me just run you through the process here. So I would start out with removing some of these branding items, just to make it not appear like a tied to go box, get rid of the camelback logos and stuff. And then next would be matching all the colors. So you'll see I started making that yellow and orange. Same with the tied to go box on his hip. And then a saturation change and another saturation change, just to make it all look one uniform orange. Add some little accents, and then from here, I have a file, I don't know where it is, I lost it, but made a little illustration of like a shell to make it look a little bit more like a astronaut housing. And then I would place them in this. So you can see there, this is just a little illustration. If you look closely, it's not all that great, but from a distance, it does the job. And so from here, we have him, but we don't have anything else. So I would take a mask and cut him out. Masks I hadn't been using before Aaron's class, but that is one of the most useful tools I've learned from it, and I use them very heavily now. And then just a little cleaner version. And then from there, I was going through some of my landscape photos, and I came across this, which I shot out at the Salt Flats in Utah, and I figured it looked pretty alien. And so this is what we're starting out with, just the two, a background and a foreground image. And then so from here, there's a little bit of work done to make them believable. And so we're starting out with this backlit image, and so we can add this backlit hue. It just makes it a softer transition between the background and foreground, and it's just a transparent brush. It's nothing fancy. It just does the job. And so that blends background and foreground a little bit. And then after that, we would go into some blending mode layers. And this just changes the entire image to make it more cohesive with color. So, for example, this one is just a pretty dark blue, and it's a light and overlay. And so what this does is you'll see in the shadows, it just gives it a blue faded hue, and that was to match some of this blue atmospheric perspective over here. And then from there, you can do another one. This one was on subtract layer. And you can see the difference between this. This just as an overall color change across the entire image. And so then it's affecting the background and foreground at the same time. And then another one which is just pretty similar, but changes color in a different way. And then so from there, now it's a little bit more believable. From that to this. Sorry, don't use that one. And then an overall selective color layer on top of that. And then, so there you have it. So that went from a kid with a bunch of household garbage on him to a pretty believable looking sci-fi image. And then, you know, I've definitely improved upon, or this could be improved upon, but this was a learning experience for me. This was done in his class. And then so, you know, on top of that, I've never met any of you guys, but if you do have any questions, I'm sure you can get my contact info from Aaron, and I'd be happy to answer anything you may have. So don't be afraid to ask. And once again, thanks, Aaron, for teaching me what you taught me, and I hope you guys all have a good one.